Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's the ICBA Daily News for November 30th, 2023. Sorry we're a little bit late. I was waiting for the Alberta economic results, and man, are they good. Today, I'm going to give you the heads up. I'm Jordan Bateman, by the way, Vice President Communications for the Independent Contractors and Businesses Association. Today, I'm going to give you the heads up on Canada's economy shrinking, some old BC politicians coming out of the woodwork to take on their NDP successors, and Alberta rolling in the dough. For links to these sources to these stories, please visit www.icbaindependent.ca. We can't post the links here because of the Trudeau government's foolish online news act. All right, story number one. 4 months, economists have been warning the Trudeau government and Canadians that on a per person basis, our economy is shrinking. It's something I talk about all the time with our chief economist, Jock Finlayson. Our GDP looks like it's been growing because immigration has added more people, therefore it looks like we have more economic activity, but actually on a per person basis, the Canadian GDP has been shrinking. Well, guess what? Even by that politically spun metric that everything is hunky-dory because the overall GDP has gone up, even with that metric now, Canada has hit the skids in quarter three. The economy shrank by 1.1% in Q3, well below the consensus of economic forecasters who thought it'd be basically flat or slight 0.1% increase, and quite a bit lower than the Bank of Canada's forecast, which was predicting a 0.8% increase. That's according to Desjardins Economics. Exports, investment, falling demand, a weakening labor market, all the metrics were bad. So as we head toward recession, and I think it's if we get 2 quarters in a row of shrinking, I believe that's recession. Desjardins says it expects interest rate cuts to come as soon as April 2024. Let me tell you, there are millions of homeowners out there praying they're right. Economist David Rosenberg, when contacted by the Financial Post, he concurs, saying the central bank needs to lower rates significantly to avert a severe recession. And he sees the Bank of Canada cutting rates by at least 200 to 300 basis points to provide economic relief. That's 2 or 3 percentage points. That would be a big help to a lot of cash-strapped folks across the country. All right, going to British Columbia. The NDP government was lashed by a former NDP Premier Mike Harcourt and a former NDP Municipal Affairs Minister, Darlene Marzari. By the way, the two of them used to be on a slate together on Vancouver City Council about 18 million years ago. Anyways, Harcourt and Marzari, they slagged the NDP government in an op-ed for the Vancouver Sun for essentially not having any nuance or ability for cities to deal with their orders to turn single-family zoning into 4 to 6 units per lot, or to put high-rises near every single bus loop. These, quote, one-size-fits-all regulations ignore the designated network of urban centers and frequent transit development areas in this region where infrastructure, community amenities, and services are in place or can be affordably provided. This is what they wrote. Applying the province's blunt policy framework would provide incentives for 8 to 12-story buildings in areas that are already congested, that have heritage assets, think Steveston, for example, or have stable, older, affordable rental buildings in preference to areas where municipalities are striving to create more complete communities with diverse housing choices. So not surprisingly, Harcourt and Marzari, they've been around a long time. They do a lot of consulting work with municipalities on a number of different things. I've sat, this was years ago now, gosh, 2006, 2007. I sat across the table as a Langley Township councillor from former Premier Harcourt as he tried to encourage the high growth areas of Coquitlam, Langley, Abbotsford, and Surrey to work together to push the provincial government at the time for more infrastructure dollars. They've worked a lot of time on these things, and they know that, there's certain communities where you just can't walk in there with a hammer and, suddenly allow 12-story buildings. Just because there's a bus loop there doesn't mean it actually would work for that area. Steveston's a great example. There's a bus loop there, but, Steveston is a, heritage community that needs to be protected from these types of things. So very interesting to see that go on. You can bet David Eby was not happy. Never good when a former premier takes you on in your own party. All right, finally we go to Alberta, and like thousands of Canadians are going to Alberta, to be honest. While wildfires in British Columbia are blamed by the BC NDP for their wild overspending and massive budget deficit, Alberta absorbed their billion-dollar wildfire costs and are still on pace for a $5.5 billion surplus, according to Global News. That's $3.2 billion more than budgeted. thanks to Alberta's energy sector. Now, real GDP, so this is the actual economy, or this is the economy, same metric that we saw Canada fall by 1.1%. Alberta GDP is expected to grow 2.8% next year, in line with forecasts from the February budget. And Alberta has added 78,000 new jobs in 2023, including 68,000 full-time positions. The good times roll on in the Wild Rose province. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another ICBA news update.